A lot of folks working from home, a lot of folks isolated at home, a lot of folks making use of the technology that hitherto had kind of sat in the corner, doing a bit of shopping maybe, the occasional Google of something. But now you're really putting it under strain. So what can we do to make sure our home technology is up to the pressures that might well be put under it? And how do we continue to maintain its safety? Goes without saying, there's only one man for this job. It is our Gadget man himself, Mr. Inspector Gadget, the good buddy Matt Porter of Matt Porter Web Design. Matt, hello.
Hi there, how are you?
I'm very well. Are you safe? Are you well?
Yes, I'm very well, thank you.
That's good. Are you isolated? What's happening?
I do sort of fall into a bit of a risk category, so I'm being super careful, and
okay.
I hope that everybody else is being super careful as well, because it's really important that they are.
Very important point that you've made, because it's not just about the vulnerable taking care; it's about everybody taking care and being cautious, right?
Yes, it is indeed. Yeah.
There you go.
Social distancing.
Yeah, yeah, which I've been doing for years. I'll be honest with you.
Well, a few of my friends do it naturally, yeah.
Yeah, this is nothing new to me.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I can't go to the restaurant. Oh, dear, whatever will we do? You'll have to cook, dear. No, I'm being flippant, but you get my point. Now,
yes.
We're all, making considerably more use of our home technology, and I guess it might reveal one or two issues. I guess what the question is, Matt, how do we make sure our home technology is up, to all the work we're going to be putting it through in the next goodness knows how long?
I think it's very, very important that people do take steps now to ensure that they are able to, if they're required to work from home, then they need to make sure that they can do that. And if they can't, or if they find any issues, then they need to let their employers know, really, to help them. But it's very important generally, because we are going to be spending so much more time on our devices, amazingly, if we could even do that, than we would normally, especially the ones at home that may not get as much use as phones do, is to ensure that antivirus software is kept up to date, updates to operating systems are installed, and we take care about other devices, because some devices get left and ignored, such as security cameras, webcams, things like that. Make sure they're up to date as well. If there's any, just go around and check, make sure these things are up to date, because there is going to be opportunities over the next few months for less than or more criminal people to be taking advantage of the fact
which
that we
is
are
already beginning to
down.
Come to light. There's it's an increase in scam calls and all of that that's going on. So caution required.
Yeah, we're at home more, you see. Yeah, we're at home more.
We're at home.
We're going to be hearing that phone ring. Yeah.
We had a bit of a scare last week, Matt, when we heard that the mobile phone system had a glitch, and just for a little while we thought, oh my goodness, if that goes down, we're in difficulties. So will the infrastructure, because when we choose our broadband, we probably go for the cheapest, right? And you will understand that. So will the infrastructure cope with this increased demand?
Well, we're told that it can. However, when we have these issues like happened last week, we start doubting it. Funnily enough, not funnily enough, my mum and dad's phone has gone out. It's now just engaged the whole time, and there's nothing plugged into that socket, and they have to wait now 4 or 5 days for that to be resolved. Yeah. So if people should be aware that response times are going to be slower if you do have a problem, so you need to bear that in mind before you start shouting down the phone at somebody. And also you need to understand that if you're at home, if your children are at home, which they're going to be now, then they are perhaps going to be making use of services such as the video streaming services, which put an enormous strain on the internet. And especially when you're working from home, the way that the internet connections generally work with home opposed to office is that there's a thing called contention ratio, which means how many people can use.
In the old days of the internet, you'll recall, between 6 and 8 p.m. it was barely usable because everybody was on it. Those days we thought had gone, but I guess they still lurk. There is only so much capacity.
Yes, there are things such as very advanced systems which are called load balancing, which constantly adjust themselves to take into account the usage. But it still means that if you like, the service level agreements that the company or these internet companies or communication companies have for home broadband is not the same as it is for business broadband, which is why you pay more for it. Yeah. So, there is the chance that the strain is too much. There will be other things that happen, such as denial of service attacks that may happen as well, which caused a problem for one of the providers. I can't remember who it was now, but it happens quite often. So we have to be conscientious about how much these networks can actually take in the way of traffic.
Expect it, ergo be patient with it. Should we expect it to go a bit slower?
We should. I think that Netflix, without trying to name names, have actually stated that they're going to be dropping their streaming video quality after being asked by the European Union.
Right.
So because it takes up so much bandwidth, and by dropping it slightly will allow the strain to drop, because like I said, it's the streaming company. So if you're thinking of although it's very, very lovely making a video call to your mother or father because you can't go to see them, bear in mind that video call is going to be taking up a lot of space. I mean, we're sort of talking about just generally dealing with being at home, but working from home. I would suggest that you speak to your employer if you can and say to them, please, can you make sure that you provide me with a mobile phone that has data attached to it, so that if you have an issue with your home broadband, then you can use the phone as a tethered device and continue to work using mobile. But I would suggest that fixed broadband is likely to be the most stable anyway.
All right. Well, where the water companies were saying for a long time, love every drop, I guess we now have to love every bite.
We just have to be, it's going to take time for us to realise, the changes we're going to have to make in the next few months. But we do need to bear this in mind before, make plans before make sure everything's updated, really, because the last thing we need is to have issues occur with these systems when perhaps the support is not going to be as quick.
All right. Good to speak, as
Sorry
always.
to sound like I'm on a downer.
No, absolutely not. We need to know this stuff. It's all important, valuable information, Matt, and we appreciate it. Matt Porter from Matt Porter Web Design. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, that's all right. I was going to harp on about scam calls again, but I'm sure we've done that enough. But like I say, please do not fall for scams. Do not give out your details to anybody on the phone. If you're in any doubt at all, speak to your family or friends before costing you money.
All good advice. Thank you, Matt, very much. Speak soon.
Thank you.